to my channel. It's Jo here. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. On my channel I talk all things lifestyle, career, getting your money up. I do haul videos, I do a variety, and in the month of January I'm going to be putting out content twice a week. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss any of my videos, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I put up a new video. So in today's video, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of both contracting and permanent employment. In the UK, those are the two main forms of employment. We also have what's called fixed term employment, which is more of a hybrid. I'll touch on that towards the end of the video, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be comparing contracting and permanent employment. I've done both. I already have a preference, and I hope I should be able to provide a balanced view so that you can't tell which one mine is, but comment below what you think it is anyway. So for the purpose of this video, a lot of the pros of contracting will kind of naturally become the cons of permanent employment, because they work in opposites really, and a lot of the cons of contracting will naturally become the pros of permanent employment. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off with the pros and then I'm going to move on to the cons. Number one is the money. Money, money, money. Right. Number one is the money. We love money on this channel. We don't love money to the point of being selfish and greedy and going to kill anybody for it, but we love to get our money up.
Cause I'm asked, what the what? What a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside.
That's what we love. Now in contracting, you get paid in gross. You get paid what's called a daily rate. Because you're not a permanent employee, you don't have a salary. Instead, you have a daily rate, which is negotiated before starting the role. It could be from £100 a day to £1,000 a day to £2,000 a day, depending on your expertise, the role, all of that good stuff. But you get paid a daily rate. Now, if you do some simple maths and do, even at the lower end of the scale, if you get paid £100 a day, it's 5 days a week, £500 a week, £2 grand a month, tax free. Obviously, you then have to do your taxes and all of that stuff, which I'll touch on a bit later on. But you get £2,000, and the £100 a day role is quite a junior entry level role. So some of the bit more experience under your belt, if you've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 upwards years of experience in a particular field and expertise, then just imagine potentially earning about 600, 700, maybe £800 a day, times by 5, times by 4 weeks in a month, times by 12 months in a year. It's a lot of money. So that is one of the biggest appeals of contracting. It allows you to earn a lot of money. Now, in a permanent employment situation, you obviously do get a salary. It will not be the same. So you can't say, when I was a contractor, I was earning £100 a day, so that must mean I am then getting £24,000 a year. It doesn't really work like that, because contracting tends to miss out some of the good stuff that permanent employment does have, which I'll touch on later. But the first point is money. Another pro of contracting is flexible working. Because your contract usually runs for maybe 3 months to 6 months, and if you're very lucky, you might land yourself a 12-month, but usually they use about 3-month or 6-month contracts. It means that after 3 months, if you decide you want to go up and travel, so be it. No one's going to look at your CV and say, why have you left the company after 3 months? If after 6 months you decide that actually I want to take some time off and get back into the market later on, you've got that flexibility. However, with permanent employment, you don't. As the name says, that it is permanent. Obviously, you have annual leave, but it's not quite the same as taking off 3 months in a year to do you. Contracting is usually very appealing for people who are coming back into the job market. So if you've been off ill, or if you've left your job to have a baby, to start a family, and you want to get back in and you want to work a few days a week or a few months in a year, that's usually the more attractive route to go down. Another pro of contracting is that you get to rotate and work for a lot of different companies. Because you're only working on a 3-monthly or a 6-monthly rotation, you can work 6 months in company A, then get a job in company B, do 6 months there, get a job in company C, do 6 months there, and that means that you get to build up your experience working in a range of different companies, sometimes in a range of different industries. So imagine if you're an accountant, you're working 6 months for a fashion firm, and then you go and do 6 months for a car manufacturing company, and then you're going to do 6 months for working in a school, for instance. Then you'd have quite a variety of industries under your belt, which you wouldn't necessarily get if you were a permanent employee. The next point is corporate politics. Nobody has time for that in contracting. You don't care about kissing ass because, quite frankly, you're not going to be promoted. You're there to do a job, get paid, and get out. So all the pleasantries and all the office politics of I need to suck up to this person, or this person's making me look bad. I mean, you might get that, or all the like nitty bitty stuff. You don't get involved because you're just there for 6 months. If you're lucky, obviously your contract could get rolled on and on, but as a minimum 3 months, 6 months, you're not looking to get promoted. You're not looking to get a bonus because you don't get that in contracting. You're just there to do a job and get out. So you just basically go in, get your head down, do the job, and then Bob's your uncle. There's no fuss, no muss involved in contracting. So all that BS, you leave it for the permanent employees. And the final pro of contracting is that you get to build a big network. Because you would have rotated through different companies and different industries, you then meet a lot of people naturally. And so if you decide that actually I want to go back into that teaching industry, I quite like the 6 months I did there, you've got contacts there. If you decide that actually you want to go back into the fashion industry, you've got contacts there. So it helps you build a very big network of people that you can reach out to for either job opportunities or even just in your personal life. Now I'm going to move on to telling you the cons of contracting, which are the pros of permanent employment. Number one is job security. As a contractor, you are quite disposable. You're there for 3 months, 6 months. Once the job's done, if we no longer need you, you get the boot. It's kind of like hiring a plumber to come into your house. You need something fixed. Once it's fixed, you don't need them living in your house. You don't need them cleaning. You don't need them doing the dishes or cooking. They came in for a purpose. The job is done. It's time to go. So there's not a lot of job security. With contracting, you constantly have to be looking at the market, making sure that you've got your next game plan. Even though a project could be projected to last a year or 2 years or 5 years or whatever, and they tell you that, they're going to keep renewing your contract and renewing your contract, you never know. The budget might get pulled, a whole department might get closed, so you're never really sure. And with contracting, they can suddenly decide that actually we don't need 10 plumbers in the house, we only need 2 or 3, which has happened to me before, where a team of 9 suddenly got cut down to a team of 3, and guess who was part of the cut? Yeah, it's not cute, because in my mind I thought, I'm going to be working this job for ages, there's loads of work to do, but when there's no money, there's no money, and contractors are expensive, so these things happen. But when you're in a permanent employment, as the name says, you're there pretty much until you die or you leave or something really bad happens. Maybe the company goes into administration or something weird like that. Permanent employment gives you job stability. You know that you've got a particular salary coming in every month. You work in this company. It's really good, especially if you're going for a mortgage or something like that, where you can show your employer that you've got a stable source of income every single month of the year. So, I mean, what more security do you want than a job that says it is permanent? con of contracting is the admin. Yes, it's good to get your money paid in gross, but you gotta still pay your taxes. So there's things like umbrella companies that you need to work with, or if you're a limited company, it's all the stuff with setting up a company, with Companies House in the UK, making sure that your taxes are filed on time, getting an accountant, all that fiddly stuff you don't get when you're a permanent employee. All that stuff is done by HR. They give you a paycheck and boom, that's it. Your taxes are paid. You don't have to worry about under-reporting. You don't have to worry about the tax man coming and saying, excuse me, I want to see your receipts from the last 3 years, which could very well happen. One of the biggest faffs, and I absolutely hated it when I was contracting, is keeping receipts. You have to keep receipts for everything, because obviously you have to deduct expenses and show that you're not lying about what you're deducting. So I would have, not even kidding, I would have shoe boxes full of receipts. When you're a permanent employee, you ain't got all that. Life is easy. You don't have to worry about expenses and admin and all of that stuff. So that is another con for contracting and a pro for permanent employment. In a permanent employment, you are likely to be trained. They are more likely to take you on, even as someone who has absolutely no expertise, and train you in-house, either paying for you to do external exams or even just taking the time to build you and to teach you the ropes. But when you're a contractor, they ain't trying to do all that. You're hired for a particular purpose, so you're expected to come with the knowledge, and they're not looking to invest in you. In fact, they're actually looking to take from you. So similar to this plumbing analogy, if I'm hiring a plumber because I've got a problem with my plumbing, I'm not gonna hire you and then teach you your job. I'm hiring you to do the job and to go. However, with permanent employment, I can take you on and I can train you and I can show you the ropes, and it's be like, oh, it's fine, I know you don't know how to do plumbing, but I'm gonna teach you, and you can still do odd jobs around my house. Another pro for permanent employment and a con for contracting is the additional benefits that you get. Like I mentioned, when you are a contractor, all you get is your daily rate. There's no bonus, there's no extra, nothing, that's it. But when you're permanent, you get sick pay if you're off ill, maternity pay if you obviously have to take time off because you're pregnant. There is private healthcare some companies offer. You will be some companies offer you like cycle to work schemes or pay for your annual season ticket. All these little things here and there. They pay into your pension. Hello, you definitely do not get that when you are a contractor. So while the gross income from contracting is very lucrative and is very appealing, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean that you just forget about the rest of your life. You still have to pay into a pension. With contracting, you have to set all that good stuff up yourself. You have to go and get your own pension sorted, get your own healthcare sorted if you want to, and pay all your other expenses. But when you're permanent, you get those things as part of your package. So really, a good way to look at it, actually, that I was told, is that a permanent package and a contractor's package are pretty much worth the same thing. It's just that with permanent, they've made these deductions for your pension, for your healthcare, for your season ticket, and giving you what's left as a base salary, if that makes sense. I don't know how true that is, but it's kind of one way of seeing it. Whereas as contracting, they just give you everything and say, well, go and sort yourself out. The final con of contracting and pro for permanent employment is that with contracting, you have higher expectations. If I'm hiring you as a plumber, I expect you to know all there is to know about plumbing, to come, get the job done, and be out of here. Whereas as a permanent employee, there's room for error, there's room for growth, there's room for learning. So if you're starting out in a new industry, it's always best to start off as a permanent employment, because it will give you that kind of safe space for you to navigate and for you to develop. Whereas in contracting, it's unlikely they would hire you anyway if you didn't have the experience. but if they did, there's not a big margin of error available to you. They expect you to know what it is and get it done. So sometimes that can be quite pressurizing. Right, so those are the pros and cons of contracting versus permanent employment. There is another type of employment that we have in the UK, which is a hybrid of both of them, known as fixed term employment, and that's when you are a permanent employee for a fixed term. So in a similar sense to contracting, where you're hired for 3 months, 6 months, or a year, with fixed term employment you are hired for 6 months or a year or 18 months, and they tell you this is how long the contract is for, this is your salary in this time, because you don't get a day rate, you get a salary. But then once that time is up, you're gone. So you're basically a permanent member of staff temporarily. So you get all the benefits of being a permanent member of staff. You get the training, you get the salary, you get the benefits, you get the sick pay. But it's only for a particular amount of time. I've never been a fixed term employee, so I don't really know how the office politics and all of that features into it, but it has the benefits of being in a place short term, building your network, some of the good stuff that I'd mentioned as a contractor, but you've got more of the stability of being a permanent employee in that industry. So those are the pros and cons of both contracting and permanent employment. I've also touched on fixed term employment. So if you're going into a new role, pick what works best for your situation. I know that at the moment the job market is a bit tight with everything that's going on in the world of COVID and in companies and the economy just basically grinding to a halt. But if you're going to go into any of these, make sure you do your Googles, make sure you do your research, and I hope this video has been useful. If you've worked in either of the two or even all three, comment below what your favorite form of employment is and tell me why. I'd really like to get a conversation going down in the comments section. If you haven't already, as I mentioned, I'm going to be uploading videos twice a week, so hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media. My name is @JMOTG on all my socials. Until next time, thank you very much for watching this video. Catch you in my next one. Bye!